If you feel like you're awkward whenever you have to speak on camera, or you've been thinking about posting content for the last 6 months, even though you know it would help you to make more money or build an audience or whatever, this video is for you. Because if you're anything like me, you've heard the usual advice like speak more, just do it more, or imagine it's a friend on the other end. And you know the advice works, there's a reason why it's everywhere, but you want something fast, something that you can do today that'll help to make it a lot easier. And that is exactly what I'm going to give you in this video. I'm going to give you 3 kind of weird tips that actually helped me to be able to speak naturally on camera. My name is Nick Lutalo. I'm a speaking coach. And am I someone who can help you to blow the hell up on social media? No. I have 6 subscribers. But can I help you to speak a lot more naturally on camera? Yes, because this is what I used to sound like before I implemented any of this advice.
Basically, we want to
And this is what I sound like now. So let's get straight into it. The first thing that you're doing that is making this a lot harder for you is that you're doing what I call injuring yourself when you talk. So what do I mean by this? I have a background in singing. I love to sing. I've done it for years now. And one thing that I learned was that singing is very similar to speaking, especially if you're doing some kind of performance, like talking to a camera or giving a presentation or a speech. And one of the things that I was learning when singing that applies here is this phrase that I learned from a YouTuber who, I forget her name, but she was like a singing coach or something like that. And she would say singing, or in this context, speaking, is an athletic endeavor. What does that mean? It means that you gotta treat it like how you would if you were doing a sport. So with a sport, you have to warm up or you're screwed. You will injure yourself. If you're about to go lift weights, you gotta do some stretches before. If you're gonna run track, like I used to do, you have to do some leg exercises, make sure that you're actually warmed up, or else you're gonna injure yourself. Because if you're the kind of person who's gotten on camera and you say something and you mess up and you're like, oh my gosh, and you try again, and you mess up again, and you mess up again, and you mess up again, and you feel like you're gonna lose your mind, this is why. You injured yourself because you didn't warm up. It's that simple. Because no one treats speaking in this way. They always go like, oh, it's fine, I speak all the time. But when you warm up before recording, it makes it so much easier and you get into a flow so much faster and you'll save yourself all of the hair pulling and frustration. So how do you actually warm up for speaking? The way that I warm up, I just do 3 steps. One that actually warms up my vocal cords, one that warms up the muscles that I use to speak, and then one that warms up my body so that I can open up my gestures a lot more and use more nonverbal language. So the first thing that I like to do is lip trills. Now, all of these tips, they're gonna look and sound goofy as hell, but they will help you. The goofier that you look and sound as you do it, the more you're doing it right. So the first thing is lip trills. So essentially it's going like how you would when you were a kid. So you do something like that for maybe about a minute, kind of going up and down in the normal range that you would use to speak. What does this do for you? It loosens up the muscles in your jaw that you use to speak, and it also warms up and relaxes your vocal cords and makes it a lot easier to speak, and it makes your voice sound a lot better. Now, the next thing that you can do is do tongue twisters. Now, you might have gone like, okay, this is just some stuff that kids do. Why is this actually helpful? The reason why tongue twisters are helpful is because they actually warm up the muscles that you use to speak by having you use really weird and difficult combinations of words. If you find yourself tripping up a lot when you talk, it's because you haven't practiced this skill or warmed up your voice enough to how you would use it in a situation where you have a difficult combination of words. So literally you can just Google difficult tongue twisters, that's what I did, and repeat it as fast as possible, whichever one you choose. And you want to make sure that you're actually doing it right, because one thing I used to do was just say it and I'd mess up a lot and I'd go like, that's whatever, I'm going fast. You want to be able to say it clearly. So if that means that you're going a little bit slower, that's fine. As long as you're practicing that movement, you'll be able to get faster and then faster and then faster and then faster until you get really good at it. And then you switch to a new one. So do that also for maybe about a minute. nothing too crazy. I like to be pretty much in the bare minimum when it comes to any kind of warm-up that I have to do. This is the bare minimum. You can also add more, but this is the best thing. Now, the next thing that you can do is move your body. So stretch, move around. This is something I would do a lot before singing also. All of these actually, except for the tongue twisters, I would do before singing. So move around, stretch, move your body. What is this doing for you? Makes you more relaxed. And then on top of that, you can use a lot more of your body when you talk. If you're not using enough of your body, that's somewhere where you're missing out a lot of, because most communication is nonverbal. If you can use more of your body when you speak, you'll be able to add more meaning to how you talk, and you'll be a lot more charismatic when you speak. So implement all of these: lip trills, tongue twisters, and stretching, and you should be a lot smoother whenever you have to talk on camera in a video. Now, the next thing that I would say to do that actually helped me is a little bit similar to conventional advice that people would give you. So a lot of the time people will tell you, speak or imagine that you're speaking to a friend. That's pretty common advice. My advice is speak like how you would speak to a friend. So it seems like that's pretty obvious, right? The thing is, it actually goes deeper than that, because a lot of people will just say, oh yeah, imagine your friend is there. That doesn't really do very much for you. I want you to actually speak like how you would to a friend. So the reason why this goes deeper is because if you ever watch back any video that you make, you're gonna do what's called content voice. This is something that I used to fall into that only recently I actually realized that I was doing wrong, and I was like, wait. I need to stop this. Because content voice is something that you don't do consciously. So essentially it's when you unconsciously speak in a way that you think is gonna maybe get you more views, or you think is gonna make you look smarter or more credible. And as you do it, you come off not very real. Maybe you imitate somebody that you used to watch, or maybe you come off a little bit pretentious. At least for me, I was watching my old videos. You can actually look back at them on this channel. And I was thinking to myself as I watched, I'm like, I feel pretentious. It feels like I'm being condescending in this video. Why? Because I was doing content voice. I didn't even realize. So one of the things that you can do to fix content voice is to record a video of you speaking. If you've never actually posted a piece of content, that's fine. All you have to do right here, this is a quick action step that you can do. Record a 60 second to 5 minute video of you just speaking off the cuff about whatever your content would be about. So whether it's about fitness or business or whatever it is. Wait about a day. Look at it. See the way you're talking. And then I want you to compare it that same day to the way that you talk to your friends. So try and set up a hangout with your friends. I hope you have friends. And look at the way, or be conscious of the way that you're talking to them. Because the way that you talk to them is probably not the same way that you talked in the video that you recorded. And then from there, you can figure out what things you need to change. You can look at the variety that you use in your speech. You can look at the kind of energy that you carry into it. That's going to go such a long way for you than looking at the video alone and going like, okay, how can I talk better? This will be a lot easier for me to do if I was on a call with you, but you'll have to do this yourself, just to look and compare. See how, I don't want to say natural, but how authentic you actually feel when you're talking. Because a lot of the time, especially these days when anyone can just look at any kind of advice off ChatGPT, the advice itself that you're giving isn't as important as the way that you're saying it. So this is something that I fell into a lot, even as a speaking coach, because I felt like I needed to sound smarter. I felt like I needed to use better language, but instead I can still implement all of the tips and tactics that I use or that I teach without coming off in a way that's pretentious or in a way that feels like it's not real to me. So even if I'm doing that as a speaking coach, that means that you probably can benefit from not doing content voice. Now, this doesn't mean that when you get to recording, you're thinking in your head, okay, don't do content voice, don't do content voice. Because the more that you think about not doing content voice, the harder it's going to be to actually not do it. Think about what you should be doing as you record, rather than what you shouldn't be doing. That'll go such a longer way for you. So you want to almost act like the camera isn't even there. Like you're just speaking like how you normally would. So if you do that exercise where you record yourself and then compare, that'll help you a lot in building this up. Now, the last thing that I want to suggest is something that'll help you if you're someone who's very much afraid of what people might think of you. Maybe you think that somebody from high school might go and start looking at your videos or something like that, and then send it to the group chat and everything like that. You're like, oh, look at this guy. But you know that posting is going to help you out in whatever way. Maybe it helps you grow your business, or you know that it's going to help you to build a personal brand or whatever it is that you want to do. How do you actually get over that? And this is somewhat unconventional advice, maybe a little bit controversial, but it will help you. You want to be almost cocky, but especially for the actual things that you're saying. So you want to put the words that you say on a ginormous pedestal. What does this actually do for you? By thinking like this, by changing the way that you see yourself and the way that you see the advice that you're giving, you're changing the energy that you bring into the video, which is so important. Because if you come into the video, or into anything really, with the energy of, oh, I'm so bad at this, or oh, I keep messing up, or oh, this is the worst, that's what's gonna show. That's the reality that you're gonna experience on some woo timing, right? But if you go into it thinking, I am super important and this advice is so important, it's gonna change people's lives, that's going to show, and it's gonna be contagious. People are gonna be watching and they're gonna go like, I don't know what it is about this guy, but I like the way that he talks. That's what's gonna be effective here. That's what actually makes the difference. So adopting this kind of thinking is a little bit controversial because, of course, being arrogant in generally isn't a good thing. But I want you to at least, when you're recording, have this energy in your head. Just manually replace all the thoughts of, oh man, I look a little bit weird, or oh man, this is difficult, as you want to change it to being, this is the most important advice. For me, for example, in this video, me not making a video teaching people how to get over their fears of recording or make it easier for themselves. If I didn't post this, it could make it so that I'm denying the world someone who would have started posting and who would have potentially changed people's lives, but didn't because they were too afraid. So I think that in my head, or that's what I thought right before starting. And that's actually given me the energy to sit down here to speak in this way, because it's actually important. This could literally create somebody who becomes really, really good at recording or posting or whatever, and they end up changing people's lives. So by me denying the world that, by going like, oh man, my beard looks weird today, or I have a pimple or something like that, what in the world would I be doing? So the action step for you here is to think about some kind of reason why whatever you're talking about, or whatever you are as a person, is so important. For example, if you're a fitness creator, you could go like, I could be the reason why somebody gets 20 years added to the end of their life. If I don't give this advice, someone is going to die 20 years earlier because they couldn't get healthy. If you have that kind of belief in your head, that energy is going to show, and it's going to be so contagious. You're going to be speaking with a lot more passion, a lot more enthusiasm, and you're going to become magnetic when you talk. So those are the 3 action steps that you can do today. Implement a warm-up routine. It can be the exact same one as me, or you could even look around and find some other things that might work for you. Then you want to practice speaking like how you would to a friend. So your action step here would be to record a video. You don't have to post it, but just record it and then go cross-check it with how you actually talk in real life, and then see what changes you can make there. And then lastly, you want to adopt this almost cocky, almost arrogant belief in your head whenever you record, especially about the things that you're actually saying. If you do all of that, it'll be a lot easier. This advice is a little bit weird, but it's what worked for me. So that should be about all that I have. I don't think I forgot anything. My name is Nick Luzalo. I hope this was helpful. Check out this video right here if you have trouble communicating authority when you speak. But outside of that, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Remember, don't overthink it. You're a lot better at speaking than you think that you are. Have a good one.